Luc, Luc Besson. It's the most fascinating, one of the most fascinating filmmakers extant today, I think. His mind, I mean, he's so inventive, he's so creative. Think of The Fifth Element. Think The Professional. I mean, he just got these, and Lucy, I think, is just about as far out as he's gone so far, except for The Fifth Element. That was deep. But that's the biggest draw for me. And then he says to me, we were at lunch, having lunch, talking about the project, why he wanted me to do it. And he said, well, you know, Scarlett Johansson is going to play Lucy. So that's it. I'm in. That. And my character is the super intelligence in the script. I'm the one who can tell you what's going on and what's going to go on, what happens if you get this amount of control over your brain power, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So reading it, it's like, yeah, I can do this. I can pull this off. Luke's imagination. I don't know any neurologists, really. So I have nobody to attach him to except me and Luke. Well, of course, of course. What if you could get access to more of your supposed brain power? I say supposed because there are some people who say, no. Your brain is using all of its capacity. You're just not conscious of it. You know, your brain is dealing with, you just blink 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. That doesn't happen all by itself. You blink for a reason, and the brain is controlling it. So it's hard to say that we only use 10%. We only use 10% of the consciousness of it. But your heartbeat, all of that's monitored by the brain. If something goes wrong, the brain immediately goes to work, trying to figure out what's going on and fix it. It can't always, but sometimes it does. We talk about people who have a stroke, how the brain will rewire itself to keep functioning around that damaged part of itself. So we do, apparently, use a lot more of it than we think we do. What would happen if we could get control consciously of more? Then that becomes a question that would, you know, we don't know what the consequences would be, you know, good or bad. She walks through the door like, Luke, bless him. Yeah, she calls him up and she says, I've read all of your research. Sure. But turns out she has, you know. So right away, Norman's aware that something fascinating his way comes, you know. Just great. Luke. It's all Luc Besson. I want to say fun, because he's easy to work with. He has this wonderful sense of let's get it done, but along with that is his own sense of humor. So the set he just makes work fun. It makes filmmaking easy, and it doesn't have to be hard, really, you know. Unless you got physical stuff to deal with that's difficult, like working in the rain, And I hate that. It's always cold. But the work itself, it does not have to be filled with tension and strife, you know. And you're working with Luc Besson, you don't get any of it. A fascinating actress doesn't take herself as a being too seriously. Just, you know, she's a lot like, to me, maybe odious comparison, Julia Roberts, Meryl Streep. They're just real people. Fascinating actress with, I think, what I would call a dedication to the craft. She's really good. Oh, heavens, yes. I started learning French when I was like 22, because I actually had every intention of going to live in Paris and teach dance. That never came to fruition, but I did learn some French. So my fascination with things French remains. And I also wish I could learn Japanese because I'm fascinated with that culture. A lot going, but here again, we're talking Luke. You know, I have not seen a picture of his where you didn't have a lot going on in every frame, you know. It's just, it moves, all of his stories move, you know, like that. And it just, so it keeps you sort of edged. And that makes him a fascinating storyteller. Makes him really watchable, I suppose, is what that's the only word I can come up with, given what we're saying. Oh, yeah. My reaction was one of those wow reactions, you know. Once it's done, it's like, wow, he did it again. Because I got on my BlackBerry and I texted him and said, outstanding, outstanding. I do. I do. That's a whole one of the great joys of being an actor is how many different things you get to do, and with how many different people, you know, and how many different people can you be? That's really fascinating. I did a play, my first play in New York, here. I played a character who changed characters without anything else, just shift gears right on stage. I think actors love that sort of thing. I saw a play once, you might have seen it, called Rocks in His Pockets. Two actors playing a cast of hundreds. It can be done. We can do it, you know.